Again, thank you. I'm Gwen Baker. I'm the Dual Enrollment Director with Calhoun, and we are just going to go over what you need to do to get into dual enrollment, and then Ms. Lovell is going to go over with you the requirements for the CNA program and what you can expect from the program. So as far as becoming a dual enrollment student, the first step is to apply. And if this will let me share my screen, which I may not know how to do. Well, okay, so we're going to go share screen. Okay, but you're going to go to our website, calhoun.edu, and you're going to click on Apply. And when you go click on Apply, it's going to take you to the 5 simple steps. And when you get there, you're going to click on Application for Admission, and just complete the application for admission. When you go to that spot, it's going to ask you to either sign in or create a new account. And you're going to create a new account if you've never taken classes with us in the past. And it's very self-explanatory, the process there. So you're going to apply, you're going to create your new account, you're going to complete your application. When you complete your application, you have to upload a form of ID. And that would be a driver's license, a permit, a non-driver's state-issued ID, a passport, or military ID. Those are the IDs that we can accept at Calhoun for new students. Once you've done your application, then there are 3 forms that you and your counselor at your high school or homeschool have to complete together. There is a course approval form, a program approval form, and a scholarship application. This program is funded through Workforce Development Scholarship funding, and it does pay for much of the program costs. There are a few costs that students have to pay for, but the tuition, the textbooks, the scrubs, the supplies, all of that kind of materials and supplies and the tuition are provided for by the scholarship. So once you've done all that, then you have to get your high school to sign off on the forms and provide a transcript. And when you've done that, then you will be accepted into the dual enrollment program, and we will register you for the CNA program. The CNA program consists of 2 classes, NAS 100, which is the long-term care class, and EMS 100, which is the CPR class that's required for CNAs and for you to complete this program. You'll take both those classes in the fall, and when you complete those 2 classes and do your certification exam, then you will have successfully completed the program and be eligible for licensure as a CNA. Like I said, the cost of the scholarships the scholarship does cover all of those costs, and it is a 1-semester program. So you'll start in August and you'll finish in the fall, at the end of the fall term, and in the spring you won't have any of the CNA classes. There may be some other classes that you can take with Calhoun if you want to continue as a dual enrollment student, but CNA is a 1-semester class. It meets in this building, which is the Health Science Building on the Decatur campus, the Calhoun Decatur campus, and it meets on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7:30 to 9. And it is an on-site class, and you will be in the classroom for this program. Once you finish the class, you'll get 2 grades. You'll get a grade for the NAS 100 class and the EMS 100 class, and you'll have 4 credit hours on your transcript of college credit. It counts as elective career technical credit at your high school or your homeschool. That's basically the procedure for getting registered for the class. Like I said, it is paid for with the scholarship, but there are some costs that the student has to bear. At the end of the class, you will you'll take a couple of CNA tests, and that is going to be, that opportunity is one time only. So you have to be there for the test. We do cover the cost of those tests with the grant, but we can only pay for it once. So you need to, you'll be notified in plenty of time of when the test will be. So you need to make a real effort to be there for the test because it's kind of a one-time only thing. We just can't pay for multiple tests with the grant. So you need to be there and you need to be prepared for the test. During the year, you will be required to come to the college for some skills tests, and you will also be required to do some clinical hours in the nursing home or at the hospital, depending on where the clinicals are set up for the coming fall. And you will have to do those clinical hours. So you just need to be sure that you are aware of that your parents are aware of it, that your high school or homeschool is aware of it, that there will be some time where you will have to be off of your campus and in the CNA program. The qualifications for the program, you just have to have a 2.5 GPA or higher, and really 16, 17, 18 is the age span that we look for this program. So that's really the only requirements, that just you complete the dual enrollment procedures, you're approved by your high school or your home school, you have the 2.5 GPA. There's no placement testing or ACT scores or anything like that required for the program. There's a lot of reading and everything involved in the program, so you do have to be prepared for that, but there's no placement testing or beyond the 2.5 GPA, there's no health science background or classes in high school that you have to take to be prepared for this. So that's basically the nuts and bolts of the dual enrollment process. And if you have questions, if anybody has any questions about that, you can put them in the chat. You can register with me. You can register with Heath. We intake all the documents. We actually register the students. So you can't go online and register for this. You have to register with the college, and it's only offered in the fall. So if you can't do it in the fall this year, maybe you could do it next year, but we really don't offer an opportunity for students to do the CNA program in the spring. So now I'm going to introduce Emily Lovell. She is the nursing assistant instructor for the dual enrollment program, and she's going to go over actually what you'll be doing in the CNA classes. So if you have questions for me, you can put them in the chat, and otherwise I'm going to let Ms. Lovell talk to you about the processes that you'll be involved in with the CNA program. So thank y'all for coming.
All right. How are y'all doing tonight? I'm so glad y'all joined us. I absolutely love this class. I've been a nurse for over 20 years, and I have seen and worked with a lot of people, and I really enjoy healthcare. So a certified nursing assistant. Certified nursing assistant does a lot of things in the care of a patient. They help bathe them, dress them, help transfer them from a chair to a bed. They do range of motion exercises with them. They measure vital signs. They help feed them. They do a lot of observing and communicating with the nursing staff. So it's a very important job. There are about 1 million nurse aides in our country. In Alabama alone, there's about 22,000 the last I was able to tell, which is a smaller number, but of course the population of Alabama is smaller than some of the much larger states. So that would probably explain that. Healthcare in general has seen a unfortunate downtick in the number of employees within healthcare just since the COVID pandemic. So there's lots of job opportunity out there, So I'm excited to, teach people about this, show people about it. There's just no better place to be to me. I mean, I've been a nurse for a long time, but I love working in healthcare. So we're going to do some of those basic skills that I talked about, bathing and dressing and vital signs, and helping people with their meals, helping transfer people. We'll work on exercises with people. We'll learn just the basics of what a nurse aide is. We'll learn the kind of small history of the nurse aide, within the recent years. We will practice the things that we learn in the classroom sometimes. Sometimes we'll be in the lab here at the school. And then, of course, there is a clinical requirement within this course, too, that the state of Alabama requires you have at least 16 hours of clinical for this course. We shoot for a little bit more than that. I usually shoot to try to get about 32 hours in, just because there's so much that you can read in a book and so much more sometimes you can learn in the clinical setting in this course. So you can read it all day long, but when we go to the actual clinical and do things, it just all of a sudden makes complete sense. So that's why the clinical portion is so important and why you really do need to be, of course, in class, but in the clinical setting as well. The clinical setting, I'm not going to say where that's going to be right now because I'm not 100% for sure, but we will, the student is required to provide their own transportation to get to that place. It will be in the general area. It will not be here on the Calhoun campus, but it will be in in the Athens or Decatur, Madison area. I will notify you well ahead of time when that's going to be so that students are able to coordinate this with their school counselors and with their schedules and everything else um, because we meet Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for class, these clinicals will be on a day other than Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that means for a very short time, about a month's time, usually in the fall, it's about October, every Tuesday will probably be a clinical day. So if it is October, then that means in October we'll have Monday, Wednesday, Friday class and Tuesday clinical. So there's a lot going on with CNA for a little bit there, but we have to get those clinical hours in. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about what you need to have as far as requirements to do this course. Now, there's requirements to get in dual enrollment, but then the health science division at Calhoun has additional requirements that students have to do as well. I'm losing my voice. I'm so sorry. Those are things that the students are going to have to provide to the school in order to meet the standard that we have agreed to meet with our clinical facilities that we have a contract with. One of those things is CPR, which that is a class that's part of this course. So as a part of this course, you will get your CPR certification. So that is one thing, and that is covered by the scholarship. Now, some of the other things are not covered by the scholarship. And this is where some of your out-of-pocket spending, it will have to come from this class. Some of it you already have. It's things like being able to show records of vaccinations that you've had through your childhood, like MMR, tetanus, chicken pox. It will require you to have a current flu vaccine. Of course, that can't be done until this fall because it has to be one that's current and during clinical. You'll have to have the COVID vaccine, and that's become a new thing. But there's not a clinical facility that we go into from Calhoun that does not require the COVID vaccine. So they are not going to allow students in without that. So that is something that is new, but it's going to be a requirement. You'll have to have a background check done and a drug screen done. There'll be more information given to you when class starts about that, because that is something that the secretaries handle. But that usually costs about $75. You'll have to get that done because that's a part of the record keeping system that the school has to keep up with for the students that we send, off our campus. You'll have to have a TB skin test. Those are, you can get those at walk-in clinics and things like that. The last time I got one, which I have to get those regularly too, and I think I paid $12 for mine. So, of course, that might change depending, where you go, but that's about what I paid the last time, and that was a year or so ago. You also have to see a physician or a medical provider who, nurse practitioner or whoever you see. You'll have to do that for them to see you and clear that you are safe to perform health care on someone physically. So there'll be certain requirements that you'll have to meet, and there's a sheet, and we will give you a packet that is very detailed about this when school starts. So, and I will talk about it again probably in depth, way more in depth. So don't feel like you need to know everything about that right now. Just know there are some out-of-pocket costs that you may have to pay for. The class itself and all that is one thing, but this what I'm talking about is separate. This we do provide a textbook. This is our new textbook. We just got a year ago almost. Last fall. You won't have to buy a textbook. It comes with your course. You will return the book at the end of the term, but you don't have to purchase one for the class. You will also receive one set of scrubs. They're hunter green, and they have a badge or a patch that goes on them, and that will be provided to you, and we will size that based on what you need whenever the time comes to need that. We have also some stethoscopes that you'll be given to use during the semester as well. And those are the kinds of things. So honestly, to come to class, show up with some paper, pen. I'm going to give you the book. I'm going to give you the scrub set that you need for clinical and lab. And I'm going to give you a stethoscope to practice with, and as well as the blood pressure cuff. We have some of those as well. Some students that already have their own prefer to use their own, but don't feel like you have to purchase that just to take this class. You'll have something that you can practice with, and you'll take it home, and you can practice at home and take the book home and obviously read and study and all that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't really see any questions that have been posted in the chat. At the moment, I don't see any. I did bring one of my former students in this evening so she could briefly talk with y'all about this class. She took this class a little over a year ago. So she's going to briefly kind of tell y'all kind of her spin on the class a little bit and kind of what she's doing now. And I believe she was a senior in high school when she took this class. So now she's graduated and she's doing college, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about this class. Then I'll come back for a minute, and then we'll give it back to Ms. Baker.
Hello, my name is Kylie Wozniak. I was a student in the program of spring of 2021. One of the biggest things that I loved about being a CNA and then about the program is the one-on-one time with the patients. My plan was to go off to nursing school, and I thought that gave my CNA was a great place to start and get my foot in the door. When I had clinicals at Madison Manor Nursing Home, and then so it really gave me a big feel for what they do. Like Ms. Lavelle said, you reading stuff in a textbook is one thing, and then once you go out into the field, it's another. You have to adapt to each individual patient, and then they all have different things going on, so you have to adapt to what they have, and then they all have their own story, and that's one of the biggest things I loved is that you're sitting there doing and helping them throughout whatever they need, so helping them eat, change clothes, change bedding, whatever it is, and you're sitting there talking with them and getting to know them.
Thank you, Kylie. I am going to show y'all a couple things I brought down from upstairs. We do have some new, very, very new within the last year vital sign machines that I don't want my students to just know how to push buttons to get vital signs, but the fact of the matter is whenever we go into our clinical setting, we're going to have to use equipment as well. So you have to learn how to adapt to using equipment that is electronic and then equipment that is manual. We do both in this class. We learn both ways. This is very similar to what you would see in a hospital or a nursing home. Our clinicals, by the way, are in a nursing home, and that's because the state of Alabama requires that the clinical experience for a certified nursing assistant be in long-term care facilities, and that's a fancy way of saying a nursing home. So the clinical experience will be in long-term care, and that's the bulk of what the book focuses on, but honestly, it can be applied to almost any facet of healthcare because when it gets down to it, we're all treating everybody the same with dignity and respect in a clean and safe manner. And if you can do that for an older person, you can do it for anybody. You just have, like Kylie said, you have to adapt to your environment that you're in and sometimes do things a little bit different. The other thing, and I'm going to try to move this camera. I don't know how well it's going to work. But there's our mannequin that we got last year as well. We have a mannequin that I bring to class sometimes as well. That mannequin is useful because sometimes instead of having to borrow the lab from the nursing department or something, I can bring our mannequin into the classroom. We can practice things like feeding skills, transferring skills, things like that. We can use our mannequin right there in our classroom. And that's lab experience, but we don't have to change rooms to do it. So it's great to integrate it right into the actual lecture topic. So it kind of helps bring the lecture to make better sense when you have, like a prop that explains what you're reading about in the book. Let's see. I think I do see a question. Okay, Nyla Brown wants to, how do we go about applying and getting in contact with you all? So that's sort of what Ms. Baker does, because you're going to first contact the dual enrollment office.
What I can do is I can put the contact information for myself and for Emily in the chat so you guys can have it. So I'll do that. And then as far as applying, that was the process that I went over when we began, where you go to our website and then go to apply and then apply for admission and complete the application there. So when you apply to Calhoun and when you turn in your forms that say you want to register for the NAS 100 and the EMS 100 or the CNA program, whichever way you want to put it on there, when you do that, that's when you have applied for the CNA program. So applying to Calhoun and submitting registration forms for the CNA program is how you apply for the program. And I'm not sure if Ms. Lovell mentioned this, but this is a really good entry to the health science careers. It's a really good way to get clinical experience so that maybe if your long-term goal is to be a paramedic or a nurse, when you're applying for those programs, they're going to be looking at not only your grades and your what kind of like clubs and stuff you've been involved in. They're going to look at, do you have hands-on experience in nursing? And this is going to give you actual hands-on experience with nursing. So it's a great first step in the healthcare fields. It's not, it can be an end goal, but it can also be it's something that helps you get to your long-term goal. If you're in the nursing program, you get into the nursing program at Calhoun or at another institution, and you have, you want to work while you're in college, this way you can work in field and not work, work at somewhere else, like, just like at a restaurant or something, which is a great job, but this way you can work in field and not just be working at a job that's just a job because you need a job. So there's a lot of benefits from this program, short-term and long-term. It's a great way to meet other young people that are interested in health science. Students really enjoy this, and it's just a great way to get involved in a healthcare career and in the health science field. So I really encourage you, if you know anyone else who was interested in the program, please ask them to look at the video, get in contact with us. We need probably 7 to 10 students to offer the program in the fall. We will do everything we can to make sure that this program meets, but we do need to, we have to have a student base in order to offer the program. So like I said, if you know of other students that might be interested, please encourage them to get into contact with us, or if they just have questions about it, and just let us know. So I will go ahead and put our contact information in the chat, and then if you have additional questions, you can email or contact us, and we'll be happy to answer those questions. I like to buy my own scrubs.
Is there a deadline to complete?
Well, the deadline is probably going to be the first. Yep. actually, the deadline will be, the class starts on August the 17th.
Is that the first day of the fall? I haven't looked at the calendar today.
That's the first Wednesday of the
Okay.
fall. So as long as you are applied and ready to go for the first day, prior to that, we will probably have an orientation session just so we can maybe ask your parents to come in and kind of see where you're going to be during the program and all. But as long as you are in the classroom for the first day, then that's pretty much the deadline. And you, if you want to buy your own scrubs, you may buy your own scrubs. So that is not a problem. And I think, Alea, we actually addressed that in an email. So if you need to, if you're, if you require that you wear something over the scrubs, then it's fine. You can do that. You can just purchase your own scrubs.
And I can just tell you the color. And it's a pretty common color, so it's not difficult to find typically. So.
Yeah.
I think you just.
So as soon as I figure out how to use the computer, I'll put our contact information in.
Can you just type it
Yes,
there?
here we go.
I think maybe, I don't know.
The best way to get in touch with Miss Lovell or I is going to be through email.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and put our email addresses. As soon as I figure out how to.
This class looks great on your student resume. If you're looking ahead at applying at Calhoun for further courses after high school, another college, having something like this on your resume looks awesome. It's very, it's something that's very appealing to a department or another school. So having those skills, having a skill set so young is a very valuable thing to have. And that's really a lot of what dual enrollment is about sometimes, is getting you to a point where you graduate, where you have a skill before when you get to college even. And that makes you that much, more a productive citizen. So.
And it will give you the opportunity to experience college content and what it's like to be on a college campus. And that's a great experience for students. This has been a positive experience for just about every single student that's gone through the program. So we really hope you guys will decide to register for the CNA program. If you want to come in and sit down and have a registration advising appointment with either me or Heath, just let me know. We'll be happy to set that up. My office is in Decatur and Heath's office is in Huntsville. So if one or the other is better, we can set something up on either campus. But the program will be on the Decatur campus. So are there any more questions or anything?
We probably will have if there is a class that is going to meet this fall, we'll have like an orientation day before the semester starts. And that's a time for parents and the student to all come. And that way we really have more time, and it's an in-person thing, hopefully, without, and that way we can answer questions, and it's easier to sometimes explain things in a large group. So, and we don't have to, repeat, the information. So, but that will be sometime in August if there is a class, and you'll be informed of that well in advance. So it won't be like a surprise tomorrow we're having it thing. So.
And we are going to, like I said, do everything that we can to encourage student participation and make sure that we can offer this again in the fall. This is a great program, and we want to be sure that you guys get the opportunity if you want to take it. All right, so if no more questions or anything, then thank you again for coming. Please email us if you think of additional questions, and we hope that we will see you in the fall.